My name is Karen Collins, and I am the Quality Assurance Officer at the Barbados Accreditation Council. To better understand the accreditation process, we're having a chat with Vice-Chancellor and Principal, Professor the Most Honourable Eudine Barriteau. And it's a pleasure to be here with you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you too, and thank you for wanting to have this conversation with me.
Yes, thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule. Why was it important for the UWI-KFIL campus to pursue the accreditation process?
I cannot imagine any credible educational institution, especially a higher educational institution, that would not want to be accredited. To pursue institutional accreditation is to say publicly to the world, of all your consumers and clients and the public, that you have maintained the standards set by the Barbados Accreditation Authority and recognize widely that you are fit for purpose, that you are established and you have what it takes to deliver your educational goods and services. So the issue of institutional accreditation, once the Barbados Accreditation Council was established, was something that we knew that we were going to do. Because of course the campus was in existence since 1963. So even before there was a Barbados Accreditation Council. So once the Barbados Accreditation Council came into being, we knew that we wanted to be part of that process. We wanted the objective verification that institutional accreditation represents. So we cannot imagine that any credible educational institution would want to operate without being institutionally accredited.
I certainly agree with you. How was the process for you? Were there any challenges?
Yes, there were challenges. It was, of course, a great learning process. First of all, what we recognize is that you have to document, you have to pay very close attention to what is there. Then you have to say to colleagues, you have to work even in a more collegial manner, because this the process for us was undertaken through the establishment of committees. In fact, as you know, KFIL had gone through two institutional accreditation exercises. The first was started in 2011, and I chaired that process. The then principal, Sir Hilary Beckles, appointed me as chair of that committee, and we had about 6 or 7 committees. In fact, we had a committee to match each standard. So each standard that was assigned, we had a committee, and then on each committee was a chair. And all the committees reported to me. So there's a lot of coordination. There's a lot of pulling colleagues. Okay, we know you're teaching. We know you have to do your research, but this year is very critical and important. So getting the committee work going for the first round was a little more challenging than the second round, the one we completed in 2018, because by then we had done it. And everyone was very pleased with the first exercise and wanted to complete the second one. And it also shows up the resources that you need, but you also recognize that a lot of the challenges are not only driven by resources. There are some issues that are really has to do with aptitude and service and so on. So even to recognize that and to face some areas of the campus that you may not have realized existed in that manner. So the challenges were, I would say the major challenge was for our colleagues to find the time to undertake the work. But in terms of producing the self-study report, it was one of the benefits. It was such a great learning exercise, because you really got to understand what makes a campus, what makes an educational institution. You see the educational infrastructure in the programming, the academic programming. You also see the governance structure. You see the administrative structure. So you have the entire architecture of a campus. And so you understand very clearly that a university, a tertiary educational institution, is not just the buildings and the staff. There are lots of processes that have to be in place. And then you have to take more seriously your quality assurance standards, because now they are going to be vetted by a team you appoint, you appoint at your discretion, international, who come in and they look at everything. And when you get that stamp of approval, you realize that you have an objective way of identifying the quality you represent.
Very good. So therefore, out of those challenges, you've certainly articulated many benefits.
Yes.
From the process.
Yes.
And so I am sure then that you would say that it has added value.
Oh, definitely. I think one of the greatest benefits that I can identify for us and for anyone who would go through that process, any institution, is that it gives, like bills a legal tender, and in people like the US currency because you can travel anywhere with it and it is accepted. Well, your educational goods and services, our degrees are educationally tender. They have currency. Our students can spend it anywhere. Wherever you go, it says that this degree that I have obtained from the UWI Cable campus has met the standards for institutional accreditation. And it's not the principal and senior management and the dean saying that. It is the Barbados Accreditation Council, assisted by a team appointed, an international team of reviewers who are all experts in their field. Yes. So when you get that degree, it is legally tender in terms of education anywhere. And I think that's one of the greatest benefits, that our students can travel the world with a degree that is certified by the standards under which it has been achieved. So I think for me that is the greatest benefit. I know the quality that we have at Cable. I was a student at the Cable campus. I earned my first degree here. But the quality stamp assured by the Barbados Accreditation Council is verifiable and objective outside of the Cable campus. And that is the greatest benefit. And that is what I think any tertiary or secondary, any educational institution should want the stamp of approval from the Barbados Accreditation Council that institutional accreditation represents.
I endorse that message. If you had to give advice, therefore, to anyone, any educational provider that was considering this accreditation process and they look at it and they say, wow, that's a lot of work, what advice would you give them?
It is a lot of work, but the benefits are so great. First, I will say stop thinking about it and start the process. Begin the process, appoint a committee, appoint a chair who will get after it and get it done. Have meetings with your staff and all the members so they understand the incredible benefits that accrue to the institution from the accreditation process. Start paying attention to your documentation. Start paying attention to your records. Start paying attention to the services you provide to your students and clients. Because in the process of institutional accreditation, the committee that comes in, and what I like about that, they come to the campus and they have a meeting with the principal, but he or she is out of the way, and they say, oh, you know what, I want to see a lab.
Yes.
We want to talk to the students.
Yes.
We would like to meet the ground staff. We want to meet the deans. And all of that happens without the management. So at that time, you are confident, or you should be, that look, this can be open to scrutiny. So yes, you're worried, oh my God, did we think of everything? But if you have been doing it and documenting it, they will know it's not a glitzy show. Yes, we keep the campus clean, but we can't guarantee that students will not complain if there are complaints. And so the point is, you can't get ready for an accreditation and in a week have magic if you had misery for 5 years. But the point is, you want your students, your customers and your clients to have a great experience, we know their challenges, but to get what they are enrolled with you for, whether they're paying directly or it is paid for by the government. You want to provide excellence. You want to provide quality. You're saying to these, I want to say to these educational institutions, the benefits far outweigh. In fact, the challenges are, yes, I have to sit up and pay attention to what I'm doing in that sense. But it's so documentation, a strong committee, a good chair, a respect for the value. Otherwise, you would not be offering your service if you didn't believe in it. So how about getting accredited and showing that you really, truly believe in your pedagogical strategies, the quality of the staff you have hired, the classroom structure, and so on. So we, the Kayville campus, not only the principal, would encourage any educational institution out there to go after it.
And one last thing, because someone watching this might say, that's UWI Kayville, they have all these resources. I'm a smaller educational provider. But would you agree that there's value for?
Oh, it is value. Yes, it does not matter. The larger you are, the more complicated it is. Imagine you have 7 faculties, and each faculty has 2 or 3 departments, and you have a wide range of staff. So if it's smaller, it might be a little more manageable because there's less plant and equipment to look at, less colleagues to identify what are the challenges they're experiencing. So size has its advantages and disadvantages, but being small does not make it more difficult. Actually, it may even be easier. And there's some parameters you can put. When Kayville started in 2011, we started in 1963 as a college of UWI and eventually became a full campus in 1970. There was no institutional accreditation then. The records, we had to negotiate with the Barbados Accreditation Council a period of time that we would review, because to get every last record going back to 1963 would almost be impossible. So in that process, you have a cutoff period that, okay, we are verifying. Whatever that period is, we will make the documentation available on the campus. Similarly for other educational institutions, but it's to start the process, and it's a feeling of great pride. And I remember once there was some issue on the campus, and the journalist had come up here to interview students, which happens, and we don't have any problem with it. They come, they speak to the students. And I saw it on the news in the night. The young man said, I don't know if there was an increase in a fee. This was not recently, it was about 4 or 5 years ago. And he said, you know what, I am getting my degree from the campus, and the campus is institutionally accredited. So if you want a good degree, this is some of the things that go with it. And I said, well, thank you, Jesus, because he understood the importance of the verification of the quality we offer. And I think in Barbados, we take standards very seriously. We are always very proud of the standards of what we do, and we like that objective verification. And the Accreditation Council, the work of the Barbados Accreditation Council, ensures that in education. So I will encourage all the others who haven't done it yet, begin the process, begin the process. And if there is time, Kayville, my colleagues will kill me, but Kayville will be willing to offer some advice, you know, like operationalizing how you do it, how to start, and so on.
That is good. We thank you for that.
You're most welcome.
I want to thank you generally for sharing with us, for taking your time and explaining the accreditation process to our other educational providers and shedding some light for them. Thank you so very much.
Thank you too. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I believe in accreditation. I believe in quality assurance. I believe in program accreditation, which we have for professional programs, and also institutional accreditation. I really think it should be done. It has to be done. And one cannot be operating and delivering educational goods and services and not having the stamp of approval that we are doing it correctly. And it is not that the accreditors look for perfection. They know that there would be challenges and issues, but they look for an overall commitment to quality and the verification of its existence and the processes. Yes, that is very clear. In fact, I also want to say it was a pleasure working with the Barbados Accreditation Council on the 2 cycles that we completed. The staff was very professional. I remember Dr. Valda Aline, and there's Sharon Aline too. Yes. And they were very professional and worked excellently. And I know you have a new director.
Yes.
It's Mrs. Lisa Gale. Yes. And I'm looking forward to working with her and all the colleagues, because that professional relationship continues.
Yes, it does.
I'm very proud of the Accreditation Council.
We received that. Thank you for being a quality assurance champion.
Thank you.
Thank you.